Good morning students. Welcome to science class. Today we are going to see term 2 fifth lesson basis of classification part 2. So listen carefully students. It's time to revise our previous session portion. In last class we have discussed about classification. Various type of plants and animals around us. Scientists believe that only a small number of species has been identified so far. Based on relationships and behavior among organisms, biologists are classified them into plants and animals. So, grouping of living organisms based on their common features is known as biological classification. Once again I repeat, grouping of living organisms based on their common features is known as biological classification. Tell me, what is dichotomous key? It is a tool used to classify organisms based on their similarities and differences. So what is dichotomous key? It is a tool used to classify organisms based on their similarities and differences. In last class, we have discussed about features of dichotomous key. A single feature that differentiates a group easily. One character selected to separate the group as present or absent. Continue the second step until only one item will remain at the end. After that, we have discussed about dichotomy of animals. Let's see the classification of animals. Based on the backbone, animals classified into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Animals with a backbone further classified into subgroups based on its body temperature, either warm-blooded and cold-blooded. Animals without backbone classified into subgroups based on its movements, as if with jointed legs and without legs. Warm-blooded animals further classified into mammals and birds. Bear, tiger, whale are the examples for mammals. Ostrich, peacock, eagle are the examples for birds. Cold-blooded animals further classified into fish, reptiles and amphibians. Salmon, goldfish are the examples for fish. Turtle, crocodile, snake are the examples for reptiles. Frog, toad are the examples for amphibians. With jointed leg species further classified into with 3 pairs of legs and with more than 3 pairs of legs. Ant, cockroach and ladybug are the examples of 3 pairs of legs. Scorpion, spider, millipede are the examples for more than 3 pairs of legs. Without leg species further classified into worm-like and not worm-like. Earthworm and leech are the examples for worm-like species. Fluke worm and tapeworm are the examples for not worm-like species. Do you know students, Aristotle, he is a father of biology. He classified all organisms into either animals or plants. See the picture, here variety of buttons. We are able to separate the buttons by their color, shape, hole and size. So, based on the special features and characters, the students identify each button according to its size, hole and color. This is known as identification. Then teacher shall ask students to separate the buttons according to the size, hole and colors. This is known as assortment. After assorting the buttons, the teacher asks the students to gather the buttons according to their size, hole and colors. This is termed as grouping. After that, we have discussed about classification. What is classification? The method of arranging the organisms into groups is called classification. Once again I repeat, the method of arranging the organisms into groups is called classification. Why do we classify the things? To know their similarities and differences. Things with similar characters are classified into same group. Things with different characteristics are classified into different groups. Classification helps us to understand living and non-living things in better way. What is the need for classification? Classification is needed to identify an organism correctly. It helps to know the origin and evolution of an organism. To establish the relationship among different organisms. It provides the information about living things in different geographical regions. It helps in understanding how complex organisms must have evolved from simpler ones. After that, we have seen about hierarchy of categories. The system of arranging taxonomic categories in a descending order based on their relationships with other group of organisms is called hierarchy of categories. This system was introduced by Linnaeus and is called Linnaean hierarchy. Once again I repeat, the system of arranging taxonomic categories in a descending order based on their relationships with other group of organisms is called hierarchy of categories. This system was introduced by Linnaeus and is called Linnaean hierarchy. There are 7 main categories of hierarchies, namely kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Species is the basic unit of classification. At last, we have seen in last class that different phylum with general features and examples of different phyla and classes. First phylum is Protozoa. It is microscopic unicellular. Pseudopodia, flagella and cilia for locomotion. It reproduces by fission or conjugation. Fission means asexual reproduction. Conjugation means sexual reproduction. Amoeba, Euglena and Paramecium are the examples for Protozoa. Second phylum is Porifera. It is multicellular organism with holes in the body. Skeleton formed of spicules and it involves asexual and sexual reproduction. Spicules means brick-like structure. Leucosolenia, Spongilla, Cycon are the examples for Porifera. Third phylum is Coelenterata. It is multicellular organisms and diploblastic. Diploblastic means primary layer of organisms. It's sessile or free swimming, that is fixed in one place or free swimming. It's solitary or colonial, that is being alone or combined with 2 or more. It involves asexual and sexual reproduction. Hydra, sea anemone, jellyfish are the examples of Coelenterata. Fourth phylum is Platyhelminthes. It is acoelomates, that is body cavity. Parasites inside the body of animals and human beings. Mostly hermaphrodite, that is bisexual. Planaria, liver fluke, blood fluke, tapeworm are the examples of Platyhelminthes. Fifth phylum is Aschelminthes or Nematoda. It is unsegmented body, mostly parasites in human beings and animals. It causing diseases and involves asexual reproduction. Example, Ascaris lumbricoides. In last class, we have discussed about the phylum is Chordates. It belongs to the kingdom Animalia, includes all the vertebrates. First class is Pisces. It is aquatic, cold-blooded vertebrates with boat-shaped body and jaws. Locomotion by paired and median fins. It involves sexual reproduction. Shark, cutla, mullet are the examples for Pisces. Second class is Amphibia. It is amphibious, cold-blooded, two pairs of limbs and involves sexual reproduction. Frog, toad, salamander are the examples for Amphibia. Third class is Reptilia. It is cold-blooded, lung-breathing, scales over the body, pentadactyl limb, adapted for climbing, running and padding. It is oviparous. Garden lizard, house lizard, turtles, tortoises are the examples for Reptilia. Next class, Aves. It is warm-blooded, exoskeleton of feathers, flight adaptation, spongy bones with air cavities, powerful eyes, involves sexual reproduction and oviparous. Waterbird, rollerbird, hoopoo-bird are the examples for aves. Last class, Mammalia. It is terrestrial warm-blooded, external ear or pinna, muscular diaphragm, non-nucleated RBC, heterodont and dipiodont dentation, viviparous, give birth to young ones. Duckbill platypus, kangaroo, cat, dog, tiger are the examples for Mammalia. Okay students, let's start today's session. Today we are going to learn about classification of plants, five kingdom classification and binomial nomenclature. So above these topics are covered into book page number 78 to 83. Students, make a note of important points. If you are having any doubt, note the question in notebook and it will be clarified on the day of reopening. Today we are going to study about classification of plants. Based on dichotomy, plants also can be classified into two main groups, flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants do not produce seeds and flowering plants produce seeds. Based on their nature of plant body, non-flowering plants further classified into three types: algae, mosses and ferns. Based on their fruit body, flowering plants are classified into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Once again I repeat, based on their nature of plant body, non-flowering plants are classified into algae, mosses and ferns. Based on their fruit body, flowering plants are classified into two types, that is angiosperms and gymnosperms. First we will study about algae. Platypus thallus, that means not well differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They are predominantly aquatic. They are unicellular or multicellular and filamentous. Filamentous algae means microscopic plants that link together to form threads or mesh-like filaments. See the picture, you get an idea. For example, green algae chara plant. Second one, mosses. This plant body is not differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. They are water-living plants. Mosses are water-living plants. Needs moisture to complete its life cycle. Hence, they are referred to as amphibious plants. Mosses are amphibious plants. They do not have any specialized vascular tissues for conduction of water and food. Once again I repeat, mosses do not have any specialized vascular tissues for conduction of water and food. For example, Funaria. See, this Funaria plant is an example for mosses. Third one, ferns. Plant body is well differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Leaves may be large or small. Specialized vascular tissues are found for the conduction of water and food. In ferns, specialized vascular tissues are found for the conduction of water and food. Basically, they are the first land plants which grows well in shady, moist and cool places. Example, Adianthum. See the picture, this is Adianthum plant. Fourth one, gymnosperms. This type of plants are perennial, woody, evergreen with a true root, stem and leaves. Perennial means living for many years. They possess vascular tissues, xylem without vessels and phloem without companion cells. Tell me, what is xylem? Xylem is a tissue which conducts water and nutrients upward from the root. What is phloem? Phloem is also a tissue which conducts sugar and other metabolic products downwards from the leaves. Third point, ovules are nagged. What is ovule? Ovule is the organ that forms seeds of the flowering plants. It has without ovary. Hence, they do not produce fruits. Seed are nagged. Examples, Pinus and Cycas. See the picture, this is Pinus, this is Cycas. These are decorative plants. I hope you might see in parks, restaurants. Fifth one, angiosperms. This type of plant body is well differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. They produce flower with 4 whorls. What are 4 whorls? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Hence, they are known as flowering plants. Female reproductive organ, ovary, is present inside the flower which develops into fruit and ovule develops into seed. This female reproductive organ, ovary, is present inside the flower which develops into fruit and ovule develops into seed. This plant possesses well-developed vascular system with xylem vessels and phloem vessels. Once again I repeat, angiosperm plant body is well differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. They produce flower with 4 whorls, hence known as flowering plants. This female reproductive organ, ovary, is present inside the flower which develops into fruit and ovule develops into seed. This plant possesses well-developed vascular system with xylem vessels and phloem companion cells. Now we are going to study about monocot and dicot plants. Angiosperms are the dominant plant forms of present day. Based on the number of cotyledons, angiosperms are broadly divided into 2 groups. See the picture, this is cotyledon. This is cotyledon. What are the 2 groups? Monocot and dicot. Plant seeds which have only one cotyledon is said to be monocots. Once again I repeat, plant seeds which have only one cotyledon are said to be monocots. Plant seeds which have 2 cotyledon are known as dicots. See the picture. These plants have two cotyledons, so called dicot plant. Paddy is an example for monocot. Tamarind is an example for dicot plant. Let's see some of the examples for monocots. Paddy, wheat, zower, maize, sugarcane, bamboo, banana and coconut are the examples for monocots. Tomato, lady's finger, brinjal, mulberry, red gram, lentils, neem, blackberry are the examples for dicots plants. Now we are going to study about five kingdom classification. The five kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in the year of 1969. Five kingdom classifications were formed on the basis of characteristics such as cell structure, mode of nutrition, source of nutrition and body organization. Once again I repeat, the five kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in the year of 1969. Five kingdoms were formed on the basis of characteristics such as cell structure, mode of nutrition, source of nutrition and body organization. All living organisms are divided into five kingdoms. What are the five kingdoms? Bacteria, protists, animals, plants and fungi. So once again I repeat, all living organisms are divided into five kingdoms. Bacteria, protists, animals, plants and fungi. First kingdom is Monera. Example, bacteria. All prokaryotes belong to the kingdom Monera, which do not possess true nucleus. What is prokaryotes? Prokaryotes contains only one cell. Cells of prokaryotes do not have a nuclear membrane and any membrane-bound organelles. Organelles means little organs. Most of the bacteria are heterotrophic, but some are autotrophs. What is heterotroph? Heterotrophs means it cannot produce its own food. This organism requires complex organic compounds of nitrogen and carbon for metabolic synthesis. What is autotrophs? Autotrophs means organisms that can produce its own food. Second kingdom is Protista. The kingdom Protista includes unicellular and a few simple multicellular eukaryotes. What is eukaryote? Contains number of cells. There are two main groups of protists. First one about plants, second one about animals. The plant-like protists are photosynthetic and are commonly called algae. Algae include unicellular and multicellular types. Animals like protists are often called protozoans. So what are protozoans? Animals like protists are often called protozoans. They include amoeba and paramecium. Third kingdom is fungi. Fungi are eukaryotic and mostly are multicellular. They secrete enzymes to digest the food and absorb the food after digested by the enzymes. Fungi saprophytes as decomposers or as parasites. Kingdom fungi includes molds, mildews, mushrooms and yeast. In order to survive, saprophytes feed on dead and decaying matter. Once again I repeat, fungi are eukaryotic and mostly are multicellular. They secrete enzymes to digest the food and absorb the food after digested by the enzymes. Fungi saprophytes as decomposers or as parasites. Fourth kingdom is Plantae. Plantae means plants. Plants are multicellular eukaryotes that carry out photosynthesis. reserve food materials or starch and lipids in the form of oil or fat. Plant cells have cell wall and specialized functions such as photosynthesis, transport of materials and support. Once again I repeat, plant cells have cell wall and specialized functions such as photosynthesis, transport of materials and support. Kingdom Plantae includes ferns, cone-bearing plants, that is pinus, and flowering plants. Fifth kingdom is Animalia. Animalia means animals. Animals are multicellular, eukaryotic and heterotrophic animals. Heterotroph means organisms which cannot produce its own food. Here cells have no cell wall. Most members of the animal kingdom can move from one place to another place. So once again we repeat, Animalia are multicellular, eukaryotic and heterotrophic animals. Cells have no cell wall. Most members of the animal kingdom can move from place to place. Invertebrates like jellyfish, sponges, starfish, snail, insects and roundworms are belongs to Animalia kingdom. Like that, vertebrates like fishes, mammals, reptiles, birds and amphibians are belongs to Animalia kingdom. Let's see the important characteristics of 5 kingdoms. Now we are going to discussing about the characters or cell type, nucleus, body organization and mode of nutrition. First one, Monera. Monera is unicellular and prokaryotic. In Monera, nucleus is absent. Here, cellular level of organization takes place. In Monera, mode of nutrition either autotrophs or heterotroph. For example, bacteria and blue-green algae. Second one, Protista. Protista is unicellular and eukaryotic. Here nucleus is present. Cellular level of organization takes place. Here mode of nutrition either autotroph or heterotrophic. Example, Spirogyra and Chlamydomonas. Third one, fungi. Fungi is a multicellular, non-green and eukaryotic. Here nucleus is present. Here body organization is multicellular with loose tissue. Mode of nutrition in saprophytic, parasitic, sometimes symbiotic. Example, Rhizopus and Agaricus. Fourth one, Plantae. It is multicellular and eukaryotic. Here nucleus is present. Body organization takes place in tissue level and organ level. Mode of nutrition is autotrophic. Example, herb, shrub and trees. Fifth one, Animalia. It is multicellular and eukaryotic. In Animalia, nucleus is present. Body organization takes place in tissue, organ and organ system. Mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Example, fish, frog, crocodile, birds and human being. Let's see the merits of 5 kingdom classification. This system of classification is more scientific and natural. This system of classification clearly indicates the cellular organization, mode of nutrition and the characters for early evolution of life. It is the most accepted system of modern classification as the different groups of organisms are placed phylogenetically. Phylogenetics is the study of relationship among species. It indicates gradual evolution of complex organisms from simpler one. So once again I repeat, this system of classification is more scientific and natural. This system of classification clearly indicates the cellular organization, mode of nutrition, and characters for early evolution of life. It is the most accepted system of modern classification as the different groups of organisms are placed phylogenetically. It indicates gradual evolution of complex organisms from simpler one. Next, we will learn about demerits of five kingdom classifications. In this system of classification of viruses have not been given a proper place. Once again I repeat, in the system of classification of viruses have not been given a proper place. Multicellular organisms have originated several times from protists. This type of classification has drawn back with reference to the lower forms of life. Some organisms included under Protista are not eukaryotic. So once again I repeat, in the system of classification of viruses have not been given a proper place. Multicellular organisms have originated several times from protists. This type of classification has drawn back with reference to the lower forms of life. Some organisms included under Protista are not eukaryotic. Now we are going to study about binomial nomenclature. Do you know, students? In 1623, Gaspard Bohin introduced naming of organisms with two names, which is known as binomial nomenclature. Once again repeat, in 1623, Gaspard Bohin introduced naming of organisms with two names, which is known as binomial nomenclature. After that, in 1753, it was implemented by Carolus Linnaeus. So, Carolus Linnaeus implemented binomial nomenclature in the year of 1753. He is known as father of modern taxonomy. Carolus Linnaeus is called father of modern taxonomy. Binomial nomenclature is an universal system of naming organisms. As per this system, each organism has two names. The first is the genus name and should begin with capital letter. And the second is the species name. Species name begins with a small letter. For example, common name is lion. Scientific name is Panthera leo. Here, Panthera is genus name. Should starts with the capital letter. Leo is species name. Should begin with a small letter. So once again I repeat, binomial nomenclature is an universal system of naming organisms. As per this system, each organism has two names. The first name is the genus name and second name is the species name. Genus name should starts with the capital letter. Species name begins with a small letter. Now we are going to study about vernacular name. Vernacular name is a local name that is familiar for a particular place. Binomial name is an universal name which never changes. Binomial nomenclature and classification helps scientists to identify any organisms and to place them at a particular hierarchy. So once again I repeat, vernacular name is a local name that is familiar for a particular place. Binomial name is a universal name which never changes. Binomial nomenclature and classification helps scientists to identify any organisms and to place them at a particular hierarchy. So, what is the need of scientific name? Because in English, we can say it is cat. In Russian, it is kot. In Hindi, it is billy. So, we will use universal scientific name is Felis catus. It won't change it anywhere. Hereafter, you must observe in zoos all the species are mentioned particularly labeled in universal scientific names. Students, shall we see scientific names of some organisms? Common name is human being. Scientific name is Homo sapiens. Second one, onion. Scientific name is Allium sativum. Third one, rat. Scientific name is Rattus rattus. Fourth one, pigeon. Scientific name is Columba livia. Fifth one, tamarind. Scientific name is Tamarindus indica. Sixth one, lime. Scientific name is Citrus arentifolia. Seventh one, neem tree. Scientific name is Azadirachta indica. Eighth one, frog. Scientific name is Rana hexadactyla. Ninth one, coconut. Scientific name is Cocos nucifera. 10th one, paddy. Scientific name is Oryza sativa. 11th one, fish. Scientific name is Catla catla. 12th one, orange. Scientific name is Citrus sinensis. 13th one, ginger. Scientific name is Zingiber officinale. 14th one, papaya. Scientific name is Carica papaya. 15th one, date. Scientific name is Phoenix dactylifera. Okay students, I hope you are all understood about classification of plants, five kingdom classification and binomial nomenclature. Now let's see some textbook pages related to today's topics. Page number 78 explains about classification of plants. Based on their nature of plant body, non-flowering plants are classified into three types: algae, mosses and ferns. Based on their fruit body, flowering plants are classified into two types: gymnosperms and angiosperms. In this page, they are explained about algae. This plant is thallus, that means not well differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They are predominantly aquatic. They are unicellular or multicellular, that is filamentous. Example, chara plant. Page number 79 explains about mosses, ferns, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms, based on the number of cotyledons, broadly divided into two groups, monocotyledon and dicotyledon. Page number 80 explains about monocot, dicot and five kingdom classification. Plant seeds which have one cotyledon is said to be monocot. Example, paddy. Plant seeds which have two cotyledons are known as dicot. Example, tamarind. Five kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in the year of 1969. First kingdom is Monera. Example, bacteria. All prokaryotes belong to the kingdom Monera, which do not possess true nucleus. Page number 81 explains about kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Page number 82 explains about merits and demerits of five kingdom classification. Page number 83 explains about binomial nomenclature. Gaspard Bauhin in 1623 introduced naming of organisms with two names, which is known as binomial nomenclature, and it was implemented by Carolus Linnaeus in 1753. He is known as father of modern taxonomy. Binomial nomenclature is an universal system of naming organisms. As per this system, each organism has two names. The first is the genus name and the second is the species name. Genus name begins with a capital letter and the species name begins with a small letter. Okay students, I hope you are all clear with today's session. It's time for evaluation. Be ready students. Answer the following questions. First question, what is binomial nomenclature? Second question, write any two merits of five kingdom classification. Third question, write the binomial name of human being and paddy. Fourth question, write two examples of Monera. Fifth question, differentiate Plantae and Animalia. Okay students, sixth lesson digital painting will start in next session. Thank you.